September 10th, 2013. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Write it over your heart. Please begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
A quorum is present.
Any persons wishing to address the City Council on any item of today's agendas may do so at this time. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, Council, my name is Joseph Texera, District 1. I object to paying Inglewood Today News over $12,000 because Inglewood City Council and City Clerk are giving hundreds of thousands of dollars to a paper and its publisher that uses that money to deceive Inglewood's voters. And if anyone doubts this, go to the internet, type in liar for hire, Willie Brown, and you'll see 2 out of an eventual 3 videos that prove just that. At the last meeting, we saw proof that Willie Brown helped Alex Padilla's campaign deceive voters. We saw David Rice, who's been described as Alex Padilla's right-hand man, finally admit that during the election, he was the one who helped Inglewood Today lie to Inglewood's voters, saying that I worked for Judy Dunlap, that I stole some political flyers for Padilla, and that I ran out of a burger stand with them and destroyed the flyers outside somewhere. All lies. And statements from the business's owners, the security video from that business that can now be seen on the internet prove that Mr. Rice lied about all of that, and that Willie Brown, who had a copy of that same security video, still wrote a story using Rice's and his own lies to deceive Inglewood's voters. Again, don't believe me, Google liar for hire, Willie Brown, watch the videos, especially part 2, and see how Willie Brown and Alex Padilla's right-hand man, David Rice, used our tax dollars to deceive Inglewood's voters for the Padilla campaign. Why did Rice finally come to admit who he was? Well, because the security video clearly exposed Mr. Rice and Mr. Brown as liars. Rice had to say something, so he did his best impression of publisher Willie Brown. He repeatedly lied to everyone here. For instance, before the last election, Willie Brown said in an Inglewood Today article that Rice told him that I ran out of a burger stand. But now, since I put the video on the internet proving that Brown and Rice lied, Rice comes here and lies again and completely changes his story. Now he says I didn't run. Now Rice says that he ordered me to sit down and wait until he figured out what to do with me, apparently by threat of violence. How ridiculous is Rice's new lie? Well, first, the video proves Rice is lying. Second, no one here believes that that elderly man could order me to do anything. And even worse, if Mr. Rice would have forced me to stay somewhere against my will for an undetermined period of time, he could have been charged with one of several crimes, including unlawful confinement or false imprisonment. But I guess he didn't think through his lie very well. Videotaped evidence proves beyond any doubt that Mayor Butt's personal advisor and the publisher of Inglewood Today, Willie Brown, and Councilman Alex Padilla's right-hand man, David Rice, are documented liars. And Inglewood should not pay a paper that uses documented liars to deceive the public.
We're pulling item number 9 off the consent calendar. Please, sir, go ahead.
To address any item in the agenda?
Other than item number 9, it's been pulled off the consent calendar.
Well, I would like to bring to your attention item 5, which it's an item that states staff report recommending approval amendment number 2 to agreement with Hillcrest Medical Clinic extending the term agreement here to provide medical treatment for custody prisoners. My concern about this is whether they have a conflict of interest, because as a medical doctor, not as a police trained officer. It's a different training. A police officer is someone who follows order. A doctor is one who's loyal to the patients. When the patients are not relying on a doctor who they can trust, who is independent.
Sir, which item was this again? 5?
It's item 5.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
It is my concern as a medical doctor, or trained as one, and 20 years unemployed because I did not march in the civil rights movement, according to those who are running the LA County medical system and Martin Luther King. I really have an issue with how this is being sometimes misconstrued as medicine. And I'll give you an example. Here at Kaiser, I was told that I had to be escorted out because I threatened someone with putting a bomb when they disagreed to be prescribed Lipitor after I asked, what's the notion and on what standards would you prescribe Lipitor if you haven't done any tests? And so they get upset because they have a conflict of interest. Their interest is to the HMO. Their interest sometimes is to the facility, not to the patients. So please be aware when you decide on these items to consider that a doctor is someone who ought to be loyal to the patient, not the HMO and not the government, like most psychiatric facilities run by the county.
Thank you, sir.
Roy Fisher, the First District. Want to talk, number one, about DR1 with regard to approving the budget, and I'm sure that you'll go forward and do that this evening. But I would like to say to you all that I don't think there was enough time for people to really ask the important questions that they needed to about this budget. You talk about a shortfall, which means you don't have certain monies to make this budget balance properly. I just don't see why you're rushing forward with this so quickly. The other thing, I wanted to ask too, with regard to this $18 million that we have promised to give Madison Square Gardens. The state has said that they are not going to allow that. And, it's my concern whether or not we, the taxpayers of the city, are going to be stuck with this $18 million and paying it, because it's a loan, somebody's got to pay it. And, again, with this budget and those monies being out there that we might be liable for, it's just a concern to me as a resident of the city. So I would like to know again that this $18 million is going to be paid for and by whom. State said they're not going to do it, so who in fact is going to do it? Are we going to be stuck with it with some more taxes? We're already paying the highest tax rate in this whole darn area. And the other thing that I want to caution you all about, and I've said it to you all before, with regard to this budget and the shortfalls, your salaries, are something that, needs to come out of this budget. We need not pay you all the money that we're paying you. Most all of you up there are already retired and garnering a bunch of money from the state, and now as we are hurting so bad, you're taking money from this city, these taxpayers here, and I think it's wrong.
Gil Matthew, District 4, Mayor and City Council. First, I'd like to say we're going to be okay, but we're going to have some better attitudes on this council. I mean, it's not funny, Mr. Morales, because you guys not coming across very well. Anyway, we still $1.1 billion now debt. Now, somebody needs to make you understand what I'm saying, okay? And you can say, how are we going to pay that? That's a good question. And you can also say, well, we never been in that much debt. Yes, you are. Till 2048. Ask the finance director or ask Mr. Fields. They told you, they're giving presentations. They're telling you what it is. And the source of the $1.8 million, or $18 million rather. What you did is you transferred the money out from the ROPS to debt service, merge debt service. That's what you did. And not only you transfer that out, you transferred $19 million. The rest of it goes to Hollywood Park. It's all documented. But yet you sit and say we're giving misinformation. Next thing is, on the budget, cutting 10 policemen is not a way to go in the city of Inglewood. And then you had the audacity to say they're vacant and you're not going to finance the vacancy because you can't recruit them. That is crazy. We are not going to allow to cut public service. If necessary, we're going to cut you and send you walking. It's not going to happen in the city of Inglewood. We're going to have public service, and we're going to pay for it one way or another. And your salaries are obscene. You're 5 times more than any city council in South Bay. And whether it's illegal or not, all it is a court case going to settle it. There's never been a court case brought to you because the people voted to decrease the salaries many years ago. And we support, and then they have improper asset transfer. They call it a HAT program. Where's your asset transfer form? I looked on the computer, you're not even listed. You haven't even submitted it. It's not even under consideration. You're out of compliance, and something's gonna happen. This council has to change, one way or another.
Sir, if you do that again, you're gonna have to leave.
My name is Willie A.G., and I live in the beautiful city of Inglewood. I don't have too much to say tonight. One item, CI1, I'm a little bit concerned about. Council initiative, CI1, a little concerned about that. I kind of like my Supreme Court. I like what they did. And finance, I'd like to say to this council, I pay just about as much taxes in this city as anybody else. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Council. Lynette Lewis, 4th District. I just want to make a comment on the CI1, the Councilman Initiative. I want to give him some kudos for having the social conscience to bring this to the Council for this resolution, and I would certainly hope that you would pass this resolution. You see, most people think that we do have a federal right to vote. You don't. You have state right to vote. And what happened is that if we got the federal legislative pass, is that it would be streamlined and that everybody would be having the same rights to vote rather than states having to be able to have their own right. That's the reason why they was able to pull the voting rights from North Carolina and the southern states, because we have state rights to vote. We do not have a constitutional right to vote. So I would certainly hope that we would support this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis.
Mr. Mayor, Council, staff, Michael Benbow, District 1. I, too, am in favor of CI1. I thank Councilman Franklin for bringing the issue forward and making a statement for the city and putting it in form of initiative. I support it wholeheartedly, and I hope that we'll get some better judgment later on in Supreme Court.
Close public comment. Item 1, CSA 3 and H1.
Warrant register, allow for payment of the bills.
Move allow payment. Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. And on the consent calendar, items 2 through 10, and we'll pull item 2.
Move allow payment, move 2 through 10, minus 2.
Minus 9.
And minus 9, which was pulled, yes.
And I second that.
Council members Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Item 2.
Item 2, approval of the minutes of the meetings held May 7th, May 21st, and May 23rd, 2013.
I so move.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dodson,
Abstain.
Padilla,
Abstain.
Morales,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. In O1, we're going to strike section 3 since it can't be adopted the same meaning it's introduced, so O1.
Okay. Staff report recommending adoption of an ordinance approving the secured property tax rates for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2013.
Motion to waive further reading.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Councilmembers Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye.
I introduce the ordinance.
RES 1.
Staff report recommending adoption of a resolution overturning the Planning Commission's denial of special use permit number 1180 to allow the operation of a beauty salon that is within 300 feet of a similar use in an approximately 1,020 square foot building on a C2 zoned property at 1120 North La Brea Avenue.
Move adoption.
Second.
Madam City Clerk.
Councilmembers Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
and Mayor Buds.
Aye. DR 1.
Staff report recommending adoption of a resolution approving and adopting a budget for fiscal year 2013-2014.
Staff report.
Mr. Fields.
I'm sorry, is this DR1?
DR 1.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. On August 27th, staff presented the FY 13-14 proposed operating budget and the CIP budgets to City Council. Over the following 2 days, the City Council held budget workshops in which departments presented and answered questions regarding their budgets and the CIP. The FY 13-14 total operating budget expenditures, if approved tonight, is $217,172,519. The budget as presented on August 27th included a $7 million shortfall. In order to balance the budget and close the shortfall, staff presented a number of balancing budget strategies for City Council consideration, which will be included in the budget if the Council approves it tonight. Those budget balancing strategies included the use of reserves, a workforce reduction plan, freezing vacant police department positions, savings in operational cost, the elimination of merit increases, and 2 additional revenue sources, which would be the form and the increase in development user fees. While the staff report requests funds in an amount of $150,000 to complete the landscaping on Manchester, staff has reduced the scope and cost of the project to $50,000. Funding for this item would come from the general fund reserve. Lastly, each department head presented a list of unfunded needs during the budget workshop. Staff is recommending that a number of these requests be included in the FY 13-14 budget. A list of those unfunded needs and their justifications have been distributed to the City Council and to the public. The total general fund recommended projects on the list is $733,900. $433,900 of that total will be funded within the operating budget as a result of a decrease in healthcare costs. The general fund reserve will be utilized to fund the remaining $300,000. Staff is prepared to answer any questions regarding any of the unfunded needs or any questions regarding the proposed recommended budget.
Council questions? Councilman Franklin?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Fields, first of all, I want to thank you and your department heads for twofold. One is giving us the hardcore information in the workshops what is identified as a need and what is identified the impact we would have on reductions if in fact we do not get a cohesive team effort regarding the workforce reduction plan. Second of all, I personally want to thank you for the many visits we've had with reference to some detailed information along with your department heads concerning the capital improvement projects.
Right.
That there was a number of projects within the District 4 area that the community had some genuine concerns. And so there was a plan of action in adopting this plan will be part of the consummation that we've agreed upon for the 2013-2014, as well as the 2014-2015 plan. So I just want to thank you very much. And also that as the mayor had said earlier, and I raised the issue with reference to comments raised by the public that had to do with the concerns of the 10 police officers, that it's been identified that these vacancies, we have identified that if the chief is able to find viable candidates, that by the time the recruitment process goes into effect, it's virtually a year anyway, and that way we can add them ultimately in the following year's budget. So
Right.
we are addressing public safety concern. At the same time, this is just simply a way that we're moving forward. As I raised the issue regarding AB 109, where we reference having the concerns that some of the prisoners are being released early, that there was concerns that they're now coming back into our respective communities. Are they in fact staying in compliance, and that there was actually checks made by the police officers that they actually go to these individuals who have been released to make sure they stay in compliance, and we get our reports regular on that. And as we speak now, the chief has been able to meet the needs of being able to monitor those that come back in the community. And so the chief will let us know if in fact that becomes another major concern, but all intents and purposes, this is moving forward. And the other question is, just so the public keeps raising the issue about one-time money, that we're addressed that issue as well. So that is not an issue on this budget?
In terms of what specifically regarding the one-time money?
Well, there was concerns that we had with the waste hauler agreement before,
Right.
that we received as one-time funds.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any other, in this, reviewing this,
Right.
is there one-time money in this one? Is consolidated also part of this one-time?
Well, two answers to that question. We do have a reserve fund in which those funds went into. As David mentioned earlier during our budget presentation on the 27th, it's about $22 million in total. And so of that amount, I've requested tonight that we take some of those reserves and use toward, which is one-time money, to do one-time projects. We're not using it for ongoing.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, and that also, I want to stress with reference to this the report, that it's the duty of the council to raise the sufficient revenue for us to be able to meet this budget once we adopt it, and it's the city manager's responsibility for executing
Right.
and implementing. And so this, again, is a team effort, and as I've always said, as a team together, one accomplishes more, and we as a team will make that happen. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
You want to go, Alex?
Councilman Padilla?
Thank you, Mayor. Just again, want to echo a little bit of what Councilman Franklin mentioned as it relates to more specific, the presentations that were done for council and for the public by your staff and department heads and how detailed those presentations were. I also want to thank staff for the opportunity to be able to go one-on-one and discuss in detail our budget and some of the questions and concerns that we had so that we can move forward tonight. And so I appreciate the dedication and the time and hours that your staff spent putting this together and answering the questions that I had in the manner that you did. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Councilman
I hate to be
Dodson?
redundant, but I have to do the same thing because being a new kid on the block, you guys took the time to go over the budget with me personally. I really appreciate that. I learned the process, and Mr. Spada, I want to give you your credit too because you spent some time with me as well. And that helps us all do our job because you let me know what I need to do. And I really
Because it's
appreciate
not
it.
ready.
And my kudos to your staff because they did as well.
Okay.
And I thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Councilman Morales?
Thank you. Thank you also. Of course, staff worked real hard. We were all at our workshops. There was also a significant amount of research. I'm sure all of the members did. The important thing to realize with the budget every year is that it's a living document. You know, at times throughout the year, you'll see us amend it, and that's based because the money changes and the needs change. But I did want to address, I know there was some changes that are in the plans. Were the changes made as discussed for the District 3?
Yes, the Manchester Boulevard.
Yeah.
Yes, we will be, money is set aside for an amount of $50,000 for the re-landscaping of Manchester medians.
All right, thanks. And I did notice all the other changes you gave us a copy for, which included some of the projects, the after-school programs, some of the needs that were requested last week. So I do want to thank staff. They did a tremendous job, and I know the mayor worked hard on it, so thank you as well.
Once again, thank you very much for your work on the budget, but I want to ensure that as we go to actualize this budget, that we have a companion workforce reduction plan in the event that we're not able to extend furloughs, because that's going to be a problem for ongoing revenues.
That's a major component of the budget.
Okay, and what I would like to see included, and I guess I'll have to make a motion to add this, is that we authorize the manager to add up to $1 million to the budget for street resurfacing in addition to the amounts we have set aside. We've really, we have a lot of streets in the city that need attention, and I know it's time for us to accelerate that process. This would be the use of one-time funds that couldn't fund ongoing operations, but since we've been very diligent in replenishing our reserves, that this is something the residents deserve, and I would recommend that Mr. Atwell continue his project in identifying our most heavily needed resurfaced streets, and to expedite that process, and then come back to us with a plan for up to that amount.
Can I clarify?
That's my motion.
Can I clarify, Mayor?
Yes.
Is that for residential streets or?
Residential streets.
Residential streets, okay.
Throughout the city.
Right.
Madam City Clerk?
Councilmembers Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. DR2.
Staff report recommending adoption of a resolution establishing the city's tax-supported appropriations limitations for fiscal year 2013-2014 as required by the Gann Amendment to the Constitution.
Move adoption.
Second.
Madam City Clerk?
Councilmembers Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. DR3.
Staff report recommending approval of an agreement with Basilio Cobb Associates, P.C. to conduct an audit of the residential sound insulation program.
Mayor, comment before we take action?
Mr. Franklin?
Yes, I reached out to the city manager, and I would like to hear from your staff or yourself to comment that there are three bidders, and the three bidders had a variation of values, and how we reached the consensus that this is the most lowest responsible bidder. If you would be so good to expound on that, I appreciate it.
Yes, I can. The three bids that we received on this proposal, of the three, the only one that came in with a solid fixed amount on the for the proposal was the one that we're recommending here. The other two, a large portion of their response was to come in, do an assessment, and then tell us, the amount. Now, in one of those situations, they would require a payment up front to do that assessment, and then, give us a proposal for the complete body of work. As you also are aware, that we're on a very, strict timeline with this. This audit has to be completed by the end of this calendar year. And so the idea that we would have time to do an assessment and then, go back and forth through a negotiation on the proposal seemed to be too much of a time-consuming process, and going with a fixed price, from the very beginning seemed more practical in order to meet our timelines.
So if there's no further discussion on this, Mayor, I move items 1 and 2.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
And Mayor Butts.
Aye.
Thank you.
CI one.
Oh, sorry. Council initiative by Councilmember Franklin recommending adoption of a resolution urging the United States Congress to immediately pass federal legislation to update Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and restore the ability of citizens to cast ballots for candidates of their choice.
Move adoption.
Second.
Comment, Mayor?
Councilman Franklin.
Thank you, colleagues, for your support on this. If anyone remembers what happened in the national election in November of last year, a number of states opted to cause a major hurdle for people to be able to vote, including such things as having the birth certificates, where some never got birth certificates back in their days of our forefathers or great-grandparents. The other concern became when we had a number of college students that lived, let's say, in California, but moved out of state, but didn't have a valid state license for that area, they were being denied the ability to be able to vote. This is just some of the items as an example that made it, that would be difficult. The other one, not only birth certificates, but also state ID identification to make them eligible to be able to vote. And so the federal government has had this guideline for years, but it's starting to, it's sunsetting. And so we need to make sure that this city is supportive of our congresspersons to make sure that they make the amendment to Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 to make that a current and valid. Why the Supreme Court justices denied it in a 5-4 vote was because they were using old data that they were using to do the calculation, and because of that, they justified why they could remove that. So this is to make sure that we enforce this and have our current legislators in Washington, D.C. to reactivate this. So I appreciate this work with the improvement of the adoptions.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. CM one.
No supplementary reports.
A one.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. CS1 was pulled. CS2 was pulled. There was a closed session held as to CS3 and CSA1. Closed session, confidential, attorney-client privilege, potential litigation under Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection C, abode, community, Gravilla housing. Discussions were held, however, no final action was taken. There's a closed session held as to CS4 and CSA2. Closed session, confidential, real property negotiator meeting, real property negotiations under Government Code Section 54956.8. Real property negotiations for the disposition and redevelopment of the following sites: 200 North Market Street, AIN numbers 40150290, 40150291, 40150290, 40150290, 40150290, 2904, 40150290, 40150290, 40150290, 40150290, and 40150290, vacated alley, collectively referred to as a D3 site. 101 North Market Street, 125 North Market Street, 139 North Market Street, 140 North Market Street, 150 to 154 North Market Street, 111 North Locust Street, Senior Center Site, North Queen Street, Senior Center Site, 115 North Locust Street, Locust Street Parking Structure, Property Negotiators, or Market Street Renaissance, Michael Anderson and Michael Dearden, and for the City of Inglewood, Artie Fields, City Manager. Discussions were held, however, discussions were held and instructions were given. And that concludes the reports out of a closed session for this evening. And there are no verbal reports.
Thank you. CC1, Madam City Clerk.
Yes, Mayor. As a matter of fact, the city clerk asked me to report out on several awesome events she attended over the weekend. The first was the 80th and 81st Street Block Club, where her and Chairman Horton partied with Mr. Byrd. And then over on 78th Place with Wanda Brown, along with Councilmember Dotson, as well as the Ethiopian New Year Festival this past Sunday with Councilmember Padilla. It was a wonderful success, and she learned that in the city of Inglewood, there are approximately 18 businesses that are owned and operated by Ethiopian descendants. And lastly, she would ask if you would close the meeting tonight in memory of Inglewood resident LaFrance Arnold, who passed away earlier, and she attended the services this week. And that's it.
Madam City Treasurer.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I would like to just give a little brief recap of the some of the bills that was paid by the city for the month of July, approximately $12.1 million in obligations, and the net payroll was $2.5 million. The total was $14.7 in the month of August, $14.7 million in obligations, and the net payroll was $3.9. The total is $18.6 thus far in September, $980,000 approximately, and $980,000 of bills that have been paid. And also would like to point out the rates continue to be quite low. There are no offerings at all in the 1-year period, and in the 2-year period, the rates again are quite low, but 0.5% to roughly about 0.7%. The 3-year again quite low, 0.375 to about 1.3. Even the 4 years is about 1.6 is the best. So the rates continue to be low for all of the agencies. This is primarily the investments that I make on behalf of the city and the successor agency. And also would like to point out that the City Treasurer Student Intern Program will be starting at the last Thursday of the month, which will be September the 26th. It'll be a 5-week program, and it will go from 3:30 until 6 p.m. And Assistant City Manager Mike Falco, you know, he's been with me for a number of years now, and this time he will be teaching 2 sessions. And he's always done the ITC department because the kids really love that. But we're going to add the police department because the police have so many opportunities that kids really need to know about, so many employment opportunities that they could learn about. And so he will be also teaching about that particular department also. And the rest of the program will be taught by me, primarily on financial literacy concepts such as like the Rule of 72, how money grows, and we'll talk about the various departments that we will be visiting, about 4 or 5 departments. And we'll talk about how their local representatives also represent them. Again, it'll be a 5-week program beginning from 3:30 until 6 o'clock. And we always serve a hot lunch that starts from 3:30 until 4 p.m. And thereafter, we will get into the program. And also, I would like to just say a special thank you for my councilman's Mr. Dotson, who attended not only the Block Club, but he also attended my family reunion that we held on August the 24th. He stayed the whole time. You know, Willie A.G., of course, is my grand cousin over there, and he was there along with a number of the other AGs that was there. So thank you, Councilman Dotson, for attending that event. And for us, my Block Club, for the first time ever, we had not only the mayor there, but we had Councilman Padilla there, and Councilman Dotson there, and Councilman Morales. So I certainly want to thank them. They came and stayed and didn't eat too much, and we really had a great time. Gentleman in the past, Councilman Franklin, has attended, but he must have been out of town that.
Oh, he came early. He came early. He helped set up.
He did what?
He came early and set it up.
No, he didn't. He helped set up the block club? Well, okay, well anyhow, but he, in the past, Councilman Franklin has always attended our block club function. I didn't see him setting up, come on. But anyhow, I want to thank everyone who did come. It turned out to be a wonderful event, and we had a number of attendants. We had barbecue ribs, and we had chicken, and we had, beans, we had salads, we had cake. I mean, we really had the best food. Anyhow, thank everyone who came out. That concludes my remarks.
All right. Mayor James West nominates, and I appoint Dr. Manuel Tiarino to the Police Oversight Commission. I move for concurrence.
Oh, okay.
Second. Madam City Clerk.
Councilmembers Dodson,
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Morales,
Aye.
Franklin,
Aye.
and Mayor Butts.
Aye. Public comment. Any persons wish to address City Council on any matter connected with city business not elsewhere considered on the agenda may do so at this time.
Make sure you have the recorder on. My name is Alfonso Parker Jr. I'm a Vietnam veteran, conscious objector, 66-67. As you know, Obama was on TV tonight. He said some things about Syria. We know about Snowden. These are international issues. We have no business, and he has no business in those issues. Those people have been fighting each other for years before we even became a country. They resolved their issues, but here we go again, Vietnam all over. We're going to start bombing, going to shoot down a plane or two, kill a couple of us, and then here the rest of us come to die. And then they do business with these people after so many of us have died. What was the purpose? I was at Maxine Waters' town hall meeting August 22nd, 2009. I spoke with her about my problem with the VA and my claim date of March 94, and I still haven't gotten my money because they're trashing our records, left and right. They're trashing widows' records. They keep shutting down one dump site and starting a new one every time they about get their hand caught in a cookie jar. I have told you, and people are finding out now, this health care is not Obama. This mess was in the working the minute June 1947, NSA was formed to deny, delay, falsify, alter, propagandize your records, military records. It birthed, I'm giving you a little history, it birthed a child 4 months later. Or she did, because she had birth, so NSA must be a woman. But the child today I'm trying to figure out, I haven't figured that out, but they're so sloppy, I figure it gotta be a male, because women are good at what they do. Detectives, they usually outdo us. But anyway, it was the CIA. CIA operates internationally. NSA is trashing the Constitution left and right. It was formed and created for that purpose and that purpose alone. And they're still doing it. I do not receive federal funding. I don't want it, because all of you nonprofits and advocacies that have touched a veteran's records, trashed records, you are a collaborator. You are sleepers. You are a part of the problem. You carry out as like the Texas Rangers and bounty hunting. They put a price on our head, $500, $1,500, dead or alive, except theirs is dead. Because every time one of us dies, that money that hour is ours and well-deserved for the service to our country. They pocket it. It's called racketeering. I was visited by Homeland Security just before the election, April 23rd, I think our meeting was. I was visited by Homeland Security. I don't know if you saw him dressed in his glory, right out here in the hallway. Very friendly fella.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I know, and I'm not a lone wolf, by the way. People, there's plenty of, talk to us, get all these people that don't know.
First of all, let me say congratulations to our beautiful Inglewood City Council and staff. You guys have been doing one heck of a job. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of money being moved into this city. So some of you cats that are too old to respect our seniors up here, you need to take some advice. Get on board. I also want to take time to say that I worked with this wonderful paper for 3 years and a half, the Inglewood Today newspaper. I've been a part of Inglewood for over 50 years, and I'm telling you, from every district, I have a home in District 3, my mother's in District 1, and my father's in District 2. And I'm out there with that paper every week. I speak to people, some don't like what's going on in the paper, some do like, but it's our community paper. And it's all over the city, so I know that's a fact. But here's my problem. 2 weeks ago, I was delivering papers here in the city, right back here at the library, and my car broke down, stopped. I knocked on the librarian door to the supervisor, I have his name here, and asked him, could I unload some papers till another car got here to pick those papers up? He said, sure. He gave me his information today, which I passed on earlier. As a result of that, I've been told that I've lost my contract with the Inglewood Today paper because the city feels as though those papers were dumped, and because of that, they need to go in another direction. Well, I have no problem with that, but I would like to know, what steps did anyone take to even check where the papers came from? I was just told my mother, which all of you guys know, is over here in the hospital about to go through heart surgery. And I've been dealing with this. And Mr. Brown, I have the utmost respect for. I don't care what anyone says. Mr. Brown is in our community, and he's a part of this community. So all these people that come up here that that on home. So I would like you guys to look into that, because my contract was to end this end of the year. But if you guys can get to the bottom of it, I'd like to continue to support Inglewood and keeping the word out to all of our residents, business owners, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Inglewood family. I'm Wild Bill Widener, and last meeting, I spoke about Joseph Traxero, that I'd talked to him and stuff, and I did over the weekend. And, you know, the only thing he's after is some accountability when the police officers come out and take a report, you know, and it doesn't sound, I don't know, I'm not a cop, and I've never written a report and don't intend to. But, you know, I've had police officers come out to my house on a couple of different occasions for something. One was a whiskey bottle thrown through the front window, and I give it to them and thought maybe they'd check for prints or something. They didn't want anything to do with it. So I know the attitude, you know, you might have with one officer or another. But so he excuse me, but he seemed to feel as though, you know, there's should be something, especially about firearm being discharged in the city of Inglewood. You know, like I said before, I learned when I was 16 years old, it's a felony to discharge a firearm in the county of Los Angeles, and it has been a long time at that rate. So maybe you guys can think of something, and we can get a little more harmony in these meetings where, you know, we don't have this fighting type of thing, you know, and think of something. Try to think, you know what I mean?
Mr. Widener?
Yes.
There's already policies as it relates to the recording of crimes, and it was acknowledged a long time ago that if that was the report, it should have been documented if it was not, so that's not an issue.
Yeah, but there's been a couple of different stories.
Mr. Widener?
Yeah.
Mr. Widener. And the incident was looked into, training was issued, and so that you know that was heard a long time ago.
Yeah, well, you know, I just hate to see something keep going on.
I do too. Thank you.
Okay.
Remember, it was 2009, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Matt Stauffer from Assemblymember Stephen Bradford's office. I just wanted to let the council and the public know that we will be hosting an Affordable Care Act Town Hall meeting October 12th, Saturday, October 12th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. downstairs, first floor community room. Everyone is welcome to attend. I have flyers here if anyone would like them. I'll leave them outside. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, Attorney, Mr. Falk. I want to thank you who showed up for my block club. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but it was better than a lot of people said it were. Now, I'm not going to put the ones that didn't come on, you know who you are. So now, when I give you an invitation, I don't be asking you. I be telling you because I have certain things for you, because y'all got things for me. But I want to thank you, Mayor. And look like things are going to go pretty good for another 2 years, okay? Oh, by the way, AG, I read the paper.
Okay, you guys. Yes, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What began as a temporary move to Inglewood from Worcester more than 7 years ago ended up being permanent stay for me. My family has settled at the Renaissance neighborhood ever since, and we love it here. My family has settled at Renaissance because we wanted to see what city of Inglewood has to offer for us. I'm an Eritrean American and work with American Airlines as a base manager in the aircraft maintenance and engineering department at LAX. I also work on a freelance basis as a leadership member for the Eritrean American Civic and Cultural Center. I have always had a passion for getting involved with community services, especially those that promote and enhance core family values. I'm a strong believer on the notion that it takes a collective effort to establish a community and a neighborhood that promotes tolerance, mutual respect, and safe environment. As a matter of fact, when I bought my Inglewood home, the key element in my decision making was the value I attached to prevailing community-oriented activities and spirit in Inglewood. The Eritrean American community currently has over 40 students aged between 7 and 17 old who have been learning Eritrean language and culture at Rogers Park on Sundays from 3 to 4 p.m. This has been going for years now. However, we have just been notified by way of a written notice posted on the premises that we will no longer be able to utilize the facility effective October 1st. Our community members, parents, children, and students are very saddened to hear the park's facilities will be closed on Sundays. The park facility has been the center of most of our community activities and has been considered as a home away from home for us. I am sincerely requesting the Inglewood Parks and Recreations Department, City Council, and Mayor's Office to reconsider the decision to close the facility, and if it's not possible, then to help us find an alternative comparable facility. Please note that our community members, parents, children, and students are willing to and ready to testify as to why the facilities needed to remain open. I look forward to hearing from you soon and discuss this urgent matter. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good evening again.
Mayor, can we have the deputy city manager get his information, please? Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Lewis?
Good evening again, Council. I just want to bring to your attention is that there's a bill that's in the House. It's AB 1407. It's the Lifeline program that Assemblyman Bradford has authored this bill. And what I want to ask this council to do, we need a resolution to pull this bill back. Right now, we have stopped the bill. It was in the Assembly, but it's now in the Senate. And so we have them, it's held up in the Senate now for review. The Lifeline program is for the people who use some of the state poorest people, residents who might not have access to telephone service. And so what happened, if this bill goes through, that this will limit what the telephone company and the people will have. So what happened is that this, right now, they don't, let me get this out. Right now, we have the California Public Utility Commission. It's already in the process of overhauling the Lifeline program to allow families access to low-cost mobile phone service. And by pushing this bill through, this will bar the Utilities Commission from regulating price through the legislative process. So that what we're trying to do is tell AT&T and BigCom services that we would like for them to not to preempt this process. So what happened is that we would like to have this council to pass a resolution to Mr. Bradford that we want him to withdraw this resolution. He can withdraw it because right now it's still just in the Senate and it's held up. So he can withdraw this withdraw this bill. So if we would have the council to deal with this Lifeline, because all of our seniors, mostly that are here, they have Lifeline services. And of course, it's also Lifeline for extreme handicapped people as well. So if this council would do a resolution to Assemblyman Bradford, we've already have a lot of calls gone into him that we want to keep the Lifeline program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, my name is Joseph Texera, District 1. First, I want to point out that the mayor kept Mr. Widener from speaking when Mr. Widener had 70 seconds left. Second, I'm asking this council to remove James Butts as council chairperson because he has repeatedly misled the public for his own benefit. For instance, in at least 3 recent city council meetings, James Butts has blatantly misled the public in an attempt to defend his personal political consultant, Willie Brown, who betrayed his readers' trust by lying to them. Writing a story in Inglewood today saying that I ran out of a burger stand with some Alex Padilla flyers and destroyed them outside. I've repeatedly proved that Willie Brown lied, but James Butts tried to defend Brown by telling the public that I gave the owners of the burger stand my employer's name and phone number and begged him to lie to my employer. But of course, that's a lie. I gave Butts a chance to admit he might have made a mistake, and I told him that the burger stand's owners promised to explain to him that he was wrong, but the mayor never asked them for the truth. At the last council meeting, the mayor even kept me from explaining what really happened by repeatedly interrupting my comments like he did with Mr. Widener, and then ejected me from the meeting in violation of the rules because I tried to keep him from interrupting me. So tonight, I'll say what actually happened. When I read Willie Brown's lies about me in Inglewood today, saying that I had stole something and ran out of a business, I was naturally concerned because most people don't know that Inglewood today and Willie Brown are paid by this council to mislead the public. And I knew that the mayor would use Brown's lies for his own benefit because I've repeatedly exposed the mayor's misconduct of violating civil rights and helping violate the law to hide police misconduct. So I knew if it was just my word against a paper and a mayor, I would have an uphill battle. So I went to the burger stand and asked the owner to write a letter saying that I didn't steal anything, which the video proves I didn't. He told me to write the letter, which I did, and he would sign it. But when I came back for the letter, the owner was practically terrified, telling me, quote, Alex Padilla is mad, unquote. He felt pressure from the Padilla campaign not to sign the letter. And while I was asking him about it, he no doubt saw the mayor standing right behind me listening and felt even more pressure. What happened next was the owner asked me for my phone number so he could call me later when the mayor wasn't lurking behind me listening. And both the owners will confirm this fact. Later, the owner gave me something much better than a letter. He gave me a copy of the security video that proved that Brown lied, while the owner narrated it and confirmed on tape that Willie Brown and Alex Padilla's campaign aide lied to the public and deceived Inglewood's voters. That's what happened. So the mayor needs to either stop lying or invest in hearing aids. Thank you.
Good evening. Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Héctor Beltrán. No soy policía. Yo fui educado para ser médico. The reason why I'm here is because I don't want to sound bitter or belligerent, but I am very, very troubled. And I would like to raise and invoke the name of Paul Russell, who used to tell me something that I didn't know when I was 9 years old and I came to live in this city. That the reason why blacks and Hispanics were not allowed here, Mr. Padilla, is because the Ku Klux Klan. Well, there's no longer a Ku Klux Klan, and here I am, 20 years unemployed. My concern is that my mother was evicted. I tried to defend her in court, and they placed a judgment against me for attempting to defend her. My mother's in a nursing home, a surviving spouse of a veteran. She can get her veterans benefits from a war veteran of the Second World War. And she's been prescribed antipsychotics because she's territorial, if that is a diagnosis. This is very troubling. And now recently, an issue that has happened here at the, where I'm forced to live as a disabled, after we became homeless, they came and took all my stuff and placed it in a storage room. Thomas Safran. This is something that some of you may recall, especially Mr. Dotson, because he was in the Planning Commission. And they were approved to do their business in Bittering. And that's how they treat us. And they have, I believe, 340 units. Is that a policy? Is that how they're going to treat us if we do not surrender our stuff? Take it out of our apartments, put it in a storage room so we can live according to their modus vivendi. The manager, she behaves like a cop. I called the police during the week 3 times, they never answered. And when they finally came, because there was a dispute, the person who knocks my door is the manager at 10 in the, at night. I wonder if you would please understand this is unbecoming. Mr. Padilla, esto es como nos tratan, como si fuéramos unos estúpidos. We're not stupid. We realize that we residents, we're not the public, we are residents of this city. And it's so goofy that I hear Mr. Gill, he's disabled, he pays the bills. This is goofy. I am disabled, I am the doctor, I'm the one who went through medical school, and the people who pay the bills is disabled, and he comes here to tell you that there's something wrong with this. What's wrong with this picture? You may, thank you.
Thank you.
Leroy Fisher, the First District. I wanted to follow up on a thing that Mrs. Lewis brought to you them, and to ask you them to ask Assemblyman Bradford to back away from the support of an Edison proposal that would cause people who live along the coast, and I'm sure that's going to include us, to pay higher bills with regard to their Edison bills, while people who live inland, because supposedly they have air conditioners and they pay higher bills. But I would ask that you would join in and ask Assemblyman Bradford to back away from his support of that bill that's moving forward in the state now. You know, I'm going to move away from that now and talk to you all about me, And I know that, I've been trying to be discredited by saying that I'm against business. I've never been against business here in the city. I've always tried to encourage anybody that I knew who would come here with business. The only thing that I said the other week with regard to that lady who was, and I clarified that tonight with her, that you them had come with these policies and you keep changing them for your friends or whatever. And along that same way, Willie, I read that article in your paper, and it didn't go well with me because when you start talking about pimping, and
Mr. Fisher, talk to the council.
I'm talking to you all, and I'm talking to this city. And when you talk about pimping, if there's any pimping going on, there's a lot of pimping going on in this city, and a lot of it has to do right here with you them, as I said before, who are pimping this city with regard to your salaries. That they're outrageous. You're all taking money from the state already, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you come into this city acting like you're doing something when you're not. And we have all this empty property here. And the only thing that I've ever tried to do was try to be of service to this city with regard to my support for the Wiseman and trying to encourage you all to have a YMCA again here. And for some 35 years I've done that. Councilman Franklin was there for our 50th anniversary. So I say to you all that, there are some people who are like a dog after a bone in this city. I don't happen to be one of them, but I don't need anything from any of you.
Thank you,
And
Mr. Fisher.
those people who
Mr.
tend to
Fisher.
grab hold of the bone ain't one of me.
Mr. Fisher, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and staff. My name is Aldine Sly, and I'm with the First District. And I have missed a couple of meetings, but nothing has changed since we have the new City Council. And I noticed there's a lot of kumbaya. Everybody's agreeing with everybody. Well, what I miss, and I think what a lot of citizens miss, is what is in the initiatives and the ordinances and the resolutions that are being weighed that we miss. We don't have time to read all of the information for these different resolutions and initiatives. And I think the people are being taken because we don't know. And when I come to these meetings, I leave almost as ignorant as I came in because we don't have someone up there who will get into the minutia of the whole thing and tell us exactly what is being done, what's being passed. Everybody's in agreement, and now we're laughing and talking about block parties and what we served in them. That is not city business. City business is what's happening to the community. And I don't see anything positive happening in District 1. Our streets are as bad as ever. I'd like to know what's happening on the south side of Century and Crenshaw. They dug up all the earth, but I have no idea what they're putting there. I would like to know that. That's in my community. I would like to have my streets paved so my axle in my car won't break. There's so many things that need to be done for the citizens that are not being done. But yet and still, we have an agenda that's filled with MSG and what they're bringing to the community, and I haven't seen any improvement in my life, and I'm paying the taxes. So I would like to start seeing some improvements, please, because I don't believe in throwing good money after bad. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Diane Sombrano, and I think that I'm going to echo the concerns of a lot of people. So quickly, the parcel numbers were read tonight that I don't think too many people noticed that you're in negotiations to sell all of the D3 plus 13 additional properties to someone, and yet the community was not party to that. Including, what is it? The senior site at 335 Queen, and at 115 Locust, and our parking structure. I don't know how many town hall meetings you've had, but you didn't invite the general public. You might have invited a few of your friends, your supporters, the cheering club, but not the general public, who will be stuck with the results and the bills. And that's really disconcerting to me. Additionally, and I was just asked to ask the question, you did say that you were going to move forward with the farmers markets, and yet there was at least one person who submitted documentation and no one got back to him. So is that another pie in the sky thing? You know, last meeting, or maybe another meeting ago, I heard someone say we should never discourage any businesses that want to come to town. And if you really believe that, then I think that we can eliminate that shortfall that we have, because the whole planning department can just be eliminated. You see, that's what the goal is of the planning department, to actually have a plan and decide how we should allocate those parcels. So when you say, well, forget that, we're going to do what we want to for a friend, you've said that planning department and the commission, which, by the way, Mr. Dotson was sitting there for many years, and I think that originally came up when he was still a commissioner, and they said, no, that's not quite right. And you went ahead and said, oh, but any business is cool. Not so. Just like anybody's construction on their homes is not cool. That's supposed to be through a plan and through the building department. Some people seem to get a free pass, don't they? Two of you know exactly who I mean, just like the parties that last all night. But you know what? As well, it looks like my time is coming up. I think you should be all very annoyed, especially two of you, that you allowed someone call another person a criminal over what would have been whole 70 cents worth of documentation. If you spent more than that, y'all don't know how to buy printing.
Good evening, Council Mayor. First, I want to jump on this bill about Assemblyman Steve Bradford. We're going to ask that, could you please do something about the phone bill? I mean, you know, I don't know why he even put that kind of bill up. I don't know why. Well, everybody got a reason, and especially when he's coming up for election. We don't need him doing things like that. That's a negative. Also, I wanted to mention, Council and Mayor, I don't know if you're aware or anyone is aware of it, but the last, I would say, 3 days, I've been noticing, I've been going to a certain court to file paperwork, and it's something strange. I don't know what's going on, but it's a lot, when I say a plenty, of Inglewood residents that's going in, being served to unlawful detainers, and for no reason. Their rent is paid. Something is going on, guys. No one know what's going on.
Excuse me, could we be quiet in the audience? Go ahead, Ms. Stoss. Go ahead.
It's, I spoke to several of them and asked them, you paying your rent? You know, straight out. And they say, of course. I've seen them with receipts. I've asked several people, you know, trying to figure out what is going on, Mayor. We don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, everybody's asking to move 60 days for no reason. We don't know what's going on, Mayor. I wish you all check into it. And this happening in every one of you all districts, not just one, all of them in the entire city. Also, I wanted to, what was it? Mention about the La Brea project. it looks like it's coming good, guys. I mean, we all thought that the word was that they pull out, took the money. You know how people talk. Well, I'm gonna straighten this out. Ain't nobody took no money. Ain't nobody went nowhere. It's all gossip. The reason why the people are gone, because the city must do some work on the lines. That's all. The streets, they'll be back. But everybody, just to kill it, they not gone. They here, man. Those people working on the streets, but they'll be back. So I just want to say that. And Mayor, Council, please stop this bill that have Bradford pull this bill. Sometimes you have to think about the seniors and the people, not just about your pocket. They have to stop. Don't let them take your city down, guys. You're moving the city, keep it moving, okay?
All right.
My name is Willie A.G. If I had to make a choice between people that run this city and the naysayers, you know who I select? Staff and this council. I don't know where this city would be if we're listening to the naysayers. They're one way this time, next time they're another way. Although they have a right to complain. But if they put it in practice, what they are saying up here, hey, I'd have to move on back to Alabama. Give it up. I'm a little bit concerned about this article in the Chronicle. I want to say this. At no time have I ever given Randall or Tika Fleming or any associates with the Chronicle my permission to use my image to solicit money or for any other reason. I do not read the Chronicle. I have never read the Chronicle. I wish that he would withdraw this article, apologize to me. If he don't, we're going to court. And I wish he would stop trying to intimidate me, because you can't intimidate me. Absolutely. You know, I can walk by him and he's stared at me like I'm something strange. Look, he can run his newspaper all he wants to, but just don't use my name or my image to sell his papers. I appreciate his apology, or else we going to court. My newspaper is the Inglewood Today. This is the paper I read that represents the city of Inglewood. No matter what the naysayers say, this paper right here. And I suggest that people read it. It represents this city. The finest city in the United States. Most diverse city in the United States. And that's the way I like to see it. Keep up the good work. Say bye to the naysayers.
Gil Matthew, District 4 Mayor and City Council. First, I still want to congratulate the Finance Department, because they have given me and the residents information that they never had before. They never had it before. And I urge all the residents that's listening to this council meeting, this is not a dog and pony show. This is real life. And come to these meetings and get involved. The only way you're going to save the city is take responsibility for it and identify with it. But you can't sit at home and say, I'm not coming, because whatever reason. Next, where is the salary ordinance for 13-14? Now, how are you going to balance a budget and you don't know what you're going to pay the employees after December? Question. Next, on the Gann amendment, this is supposed to be posted in the city clerk's office 2 weeks prior to adopting the budget. It's not there. And next, I'm just deferring that to the city attorney. And next, I'm happy to see that we have $25 million for the Gann amendment that we haven't maxed out. And I would suggest to you now is to look in terms of tax allocation bonds and use that $25 million. But I can no way support a decrease of 10 policemen. That's unacceptable. And next, this council, you have a tremendous job. This is going to be a rough year to balance this budget, no doubt about it. And I would suggest that we do not in any way cut any more workers, restore their 10% cut, and do everything we can to protect the money that we have. As far as the media is concerned, you have a First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of the media. That's what democracy is supposed to be about, but you have certain rights. And it's up to an individual to have knowledge, freedom of thought, to read whatever he wants to read. And next is name calling, because people do not agree where they have their own opinions, naming them naysayers. I'd rather be a naysayer than a village idiot.
Okay, we'll close public comment. Council comments, Councilman thoughts?
First of all, I'd like to say one thing, that I've been here all of 2 months. Those 2 months, I've learned a lot. And I'm proud to be part of this council. We're getting a lot of things done. This city is moving forward. You may not see it, but it's in better shape than you think. And I just want all of you to know, when you come here and you talk to us, we hear you. We don't argue with you or talk to you about whatever you say. We just take it in and do what we need to do. This city is gonna be one of the best cities in the South Bay in a very short amount of time. And it will be because of this council. So with that, I do have a little announcement for the first district. You don't get too many things free, but this is free. You are cordially invited to the first annual District 1 Document Shredding Day, Saturday, September 14th, time 8 to 12 noon. Location, Police Community Center, Beat 3, 2901 West Manchester Avenue, Inglewood, California. Limited 3 boxes of documents per household, please. Documents be received before 11:45 a.m. to be shredded. Please come out and meet your new District 1 commissioners who will be on site that day. So please come out and share with them and meet your new commissioners. And I will be there as well. So those of you who have not met your new council person, come and spend some time with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Padilla.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of quick comments. One is, I find it very interesting when we have folks from up here go up and speak, which is great. You know, it's good that they come up and voice their concerns. What I find interesting is when they come in and talk about being ignorant and them wanting us to tell them what they read as opposed to them reading it and being self-educated. And then if they have questions about something, reach out to your council person if you need clarification. We're here to work with you and to help you. You know, we're not here trying to do any shamalama or trying to keep something from you. And we're not going to sit here and argue back and forth with each other, because we're here to run the business of the city. And so when somebody comes up here and makes comments like that, they need to reconsider how they're approaching the information knowledge of what's happening within our city. The other thing I find very interesting is you can have somebody come up here, yell and scream and get animated and talk about all the whatever negative stuff that's going on in their opinion, and yet when that person's in charge and one of the chairpersons of the facility here in the city of Inglewood, the Adobe, and yet they never make comments last time we had a council meeting or this time about the Adobe Fiesta that took place this past Saturday, and then Sunday, I'm sorry, this past Sunday. But I will say, and I want to thank the mayor and the council members that were there, as well as the commissioners from District 2, that Ms. Zambrano did an excellent job of putting together the Adobe Fiesta. Everybody there was having a good time. It was a great community event, a great family event. Her staff and Ms. Zambrano are to be commended for such a wonderful event that they put together. And I want to thank her for doing that. Now I want to move on. I had the pleasure as well on Sunday of attending the Ethiopian Community New Year celebration that took place actually in the city of Los Angeles. But one of the people that was in charge of that event that put it together is one of our own residents, or business owners here in District 2, Nikki Lagasse. And Nikki received a commendation, a proclamation from Mayor Garcetti, as well as the LA City Council President Herb Wesson. So I want to acknowledge her for all her work in putting together that New Year's celebration for the Ethiopian community, of which we have a big hold of Ethiopian community members here in our beautiful city of Inglewood. I also want to thank those residents in District 2 that came out this past Saturday to meet with me and talk about their concerns, about issues that they have, the fact that we were there from 10 to 1, we filled up all the slots, we had several people walk in, but one of the important parts is a few of them came in with concerns. I brought those to the attention of the city manager, Mr. Fields. He has addressed them. I'm reporting back to those community members. That's what this is all about, the exchange of communication and information. Save the date.
Would you like another minute?
Can I please have 1 minute?
Yes.
Mayor? Thank you. I want to give you a couple of save the dates for District 2. I want to thank Commissioner from our District 2 Parks Commissioner, Juanita Withrow. She's putting together a District 2 picnic that's going to take place at North Park on Sunday, September 29th from 1 to 4. You're all welcome to come and attend. And I want to thank city staff for working with her to put that together. Another save the date is District 2 is having our first town hall meeting on Saturday, October the 19th at 10 a.m. downstairs in the community room. Please come out and learn about what's happening in our district and in the city of Inglewood. With that, I want to thank you for coming out and being a part of tonight's meeting. What time is the District 2 Town Hall? At 10 a.m. Sorry about that. Thank you very much, Mayor.
You're welcome. Councilman Morales?
Thank you. So much gets discussed in an agenda, but I did want to address the fact that sometimes in closed session, you see certain items that are not yet having been discussed in public, especially something like an exclusive right. It always gets discussed in closed session, and then there will be an opportunity for the public not only to voice their opinion, but to hear about what that exclusive is regarding. So we look forward to that in the future if, in fact, that's where it's headed. So that's coming. Now, in regards to, I did want to mention the gentleman that spoke about the parks on Sunday having been closed, and the Assistant City Manager Falco and Mr. Fields have already been working on it. We think there might be a confusion of some sort in regards to the closure. My concern was that that's one of the parks in my area, and I know for a fact that there are other groups that are there on Sunday. So thank you, Mr. Falco, for moving on that quickly. I believe there's a confusion. You know, you may want to speak to Mr. Falco immediately following the meeting. Now, in regards to the block clubs, I can't believe that you know, mentioning the block clubs and the fact that people have invited us not only to you know, their street, but really their homes. You know, they really open it up to us and share what's going on, not only on the street, how they feel about what's going on in the city, which is really what's important about going to these block clubs. Ms. Browns, you know, they take their time to really walk you through. Oh, there was a great one on Ellis about a week ago where folks were extremely excited, not only that all of us were there, but the fact that they could share kind of their opinion about what's going on in the city. Now, in regards to disagreements and the fact that means we're working, you know, that's really confusing, because I can tell you that, you know, we disagree quite a bit here throughout the week, and we discuss things with staff. We get to the bottom of what we're interested in, and we move it as well as we can for the people we represent. I'm sure, you know, if you speak to someone, they'll see I've gotten on everybody's nerves at some point, maybe multiple times, and that's part of what we do. But by the time we get up here, you know, it's one evening, there's discussion, but it would be limited to limited resolution if we cannot work throughout the week. So I can tell you for a fact that there's plenty of discussion throughout the week in terms of how we resolve our issues with staff. So thank you very much. And I did want to mention that in regards to the folks that come up, we really do appreciate when they come up and say anything. But I have to say the mayor is being extremely generous with how the parameters are set here. There are many times throughout the evening where he could just stop them from talking, especially when it's regarding the agenda item. So I just wanted to say that, and nobody's trying to shut anybody down. The truth is, he's being very generous. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Franklin.
Yes, I want to, first of all, piggyback on comments made by the residents concerning the AB 1407 with the Lifeline program. There's two things of concern. One is the remarks that are made and what is the final bill that's soon to be adopted. Just so everyone knows, the Sacramento session will be closed this Friday the 13th. So for us now trying to do a request of a resolution may not get there fast enough for the action. And then because it has already passed through the Assembly and gone to the Senate, we need to get clarification as to what language is being introduced for adoption. So I will look into that to verify that as well. In addition to that, as you've heard people talk about block clubs, I was one of those that did attend the James Burt's block club, and I shouldn't say James Burt, I'll say the ABC block club. Around the block club is the program, because the ladies made sure they knew that they were in charge and not Mr. Burt. But overall, it was all fun, humor among the community. It was a great experience. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the distinguished young lady's birthday party in District 2 for Elvira Olmedo, who celebrated her 86th birthday. And the dress attire was that of the authentic Hispanic Latin attire or Western attire, and I was dressed to impress. The cowboy hat and all, I enjoy that. And then the other comment, I did want to acknowledge that there are a number of investors here in our community, particularly those that believe in giving of their time and money to establish a business that has been a very successful business and continues to expand. And it had to be my honor to be in attendance and invited to go to the wedding of Sandy Martin, who is the daughter of Gloria Martin, the owner and operator of Fiesta Martin in the city of Inglewood. And so I was very elated. I just want to thank everyone for opening up their homes, sharing information with us on issues of concern. This was an important meeting regardless of how much input you've heard from us, but there was a lot of detailed discussions, at least I'll speak for me, regarding things I want to make sure that got in the budget for District 4 that involved infrastructure. And one of the good things that was good to hear was the mayor and this council adopting the extension of additional $1 million in this year's budget specifically for residential homes, residential property, streets. And on that note, thank you and good night.
All right, thank you, Councilman. You know, I I want to thank Mr. Burt for inviting me to the ABC Block Club. They have a great one every year, 78th place. Wanda Brown's club always does as well. Appreciate her inviting all of us. And I do think that block clubs are important regardless of what some may say, because actually we have upwards of 50 people in one place, residents, and a lot of times homeowners, and they give their opinion on city services and where we're going, and I would have to tell you that I consider that a greater barometer of the consensus in the community than this artificial environment we have here at times. I'm going to have to address just Mr. Teixeira for a moment, because he's very insistent on calling people liars. And I want to note something, that his story evolves over time. Now he's introduced the concept of a letter. First he said that I didn't see him there. Now he acknowledges I was there and saw him write something, and now it was a letter. It wasn't a letter, it was a small piece of paper. He wrote down the name and phone number of a person he described as his boss. And I think it's kind of sad when someone gets caught doing something that they're ashamed of, and that they attempt to now impugn the character of other people. I understand now supposedly that he was going to sign a letter, but Mr. Padilla was mad, and now, I mean, none of this makes any sense. And there's got to come a point that this nonsense has to stop. It's just getting pathetic. I really am pleased with where we're going. I think Ms. Sobrano knows by now that she's been coming to council meetings enough to know that negotiations means just that we're negotiating a possible exclusive negotiations agreement. It doesn't mean that we're going to sell anything. And also, she knows that those parcels that are listed, most of them the city doesn't own. It's a discussion of a project, a concept, and by its very nature, negotiations are confidential until we have something that we intend to vote on and agree on in public, and then at that point, it's exposed to the public, we get public feedback in a public session, and then we take a vote. I want to also commend Ms. Sobrano for the celebration at the Adobe. She puts on an excellent one every year. I'm just sad that she didn't feel it was worth mentioning, but it was worth mentioning. It's one of those parts of our community life that we really enjoy. So I want to congratulate Ms. Sobrano, Ann LaRose, and all the committee that was involved with it. It was really good for the city. Mr. Falco, would you take a moment and talk about the salary ordinance that was mentioned?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. The salary ordinance is a document that is annually brought forth to the council, typically in September, to provide the council with the opportunity to adopt a document that could potentially change position classifications, which would be typically the position titles of all of the classified and whatnot positions within the city, as well as the minimum and maximum salary range. The document is required annually, but the adoption of the document is only necessary, if you will, to be done by October 1st if there are positions in that are new and need to be filled effective immediately. You may recall last year we adopted the document around the September 18th timeframe. It went into effect on October 19th, 1 month later, and as a result, positions that were in the salary ordinance that had not been in the previous one were then available for us to recruit for and fill. In this particular year, while we do have some changes that we are looking to put in the salary ordinance, there are no positions that are being sought to hire immediately effective October 1st when the budget comes into play. So with that, the salary ordinance is likely to come before the council on the 27th. It will then be adopted, the 24th, and it will be adopted roughly 1 month later after the second reading. And at that time, the staff report will indicate which position titles have changed. There are some new positions that some of the departments, for the purposes of taking advantage of new and improved business operations or functional operations. We've changed some of the titles to, for example, in redevelopment that doesn't exist anymore. We're changing some of the titles to keep pace with, the market and so forth. So that will come forth. The adoption of the budget was a little early this year, but it also required us to meet with the department heads on several occasions to make sure that those positions were accurately reflected. And it wouldn't make sense for us to bring the salary ordinance early and then have to change it, because then it would require 2 actions by the council as opposed to doing it after the fact. And in this particular case, again, there's nothing that is requiring urgency. Even the most urgent would be an emergency salary ordinance, which we have done in years gone by, but again, this year doesn't require that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And in a couple more housekeeping things, I want to note again that in all this time that Mr. Teixeira has been coming, he's never mentioned a letter, and he never mentioned Mr. Padilla, but now there's a letter. Also, for those of us that don't seem to hear this, the renovation loan that is afforded this project is in escrow. It's been cleared on the ROPS, and it's been cleared by the state. It's unfortunate that some of us just don't really root for the city, but want to root for failure. I find that amazing. But if you keep on saying that, that's what I have to assume. So I want to close the meeting in the name of LaFrancis Arnold, an Inglewood resident, candidate for the 62nd Assembly seat, and he'll be missed. We're adjourned.